The Ukrainian counteroffensive in the south is continuing. Battles began for the village of Novomayorske. Russia drone records that the Ukrainians were able to successfully cross the Shaytanka river. There were explosions on the northern part of the village, and fighting have been seen in the center of the village. Russian sources claim that Ukrainian forces intensified offensive operations and advanced along the Donetsk-Zaporizhia Oblast border on September 8th. One Russian mill blogger claimed that Ukrainian forces captured positions on the northwestern outskirts of Novomayorske. But the latest informations are that the Ukrainian forces advanced to Novomayorske and in the settlement itself. And Oleksandr Shtupun, spokesman for the Ukrainian southern grouping, said that the Ukrainian fighters are gradually squeezing out the invaders from their positions in the Robotyne area. The Russian armed forces are transferring more and more airborne troops to this direction in the hope of containing the Ukrainian advance. Ukrainian troops have penetrated deeply into the main line of Russian defense in the Robotyne area and continue to develop a breakthrough further. There are also successes in the Bakhmut direction, between Andreevka and Klishchivka. To maintain defense in these areas, the occupiers transferred significant reserves there, which limits their ability to attack in other places, writes the UK Ministry of Defense. Ukrainian units in the Robotyne sector captured an abandoned Russian T-90M main battle tank, which is the most modern Russian tank right now, and this is the third capture of its kind so far. The U.S. has found it has more ATACMs in its inventory than originally assessed. ABC writes that this is how the U.S. will explain why it will now send ATACMs to Ukraine despite previously saying it would be impossible. Okay, we don't mind. Aerial reconnaissance of the 27th Brigade of the National Guard of Ukraine detected and destroyed at night the Russian 220mm heavy flamethrower system of salvo-fire TOS-1, a Solntsepyok. This is a thermobaric weapon, and it's one of the mightiest Russian artillery weapons. East of Andreevka, Russian positions are being fired at with cluster munitions. A foreign observer from Africa at gunpoint assures that everything is fine in the Russian pseudo-elections and there are no violations. Steal elections with just a click. Putin voted online in Moscow elections. What's the point if we know who will win? Like Soviet elections and fair trials, the goal is simply to check off the boxes, thus bureaucratically justify their actions as being democratic. Like why Russia uses the myth of Nazis in Ukraine, liberation of Russian speakers in Donbass, etc. Putin knew he wanted to seize all of Ukraine. He just needed to find the justification to do it. Belarusian propagandist Azarenok gloats and enjoys that Lukashenko has decided to deal with Belarusians abroad. He signed a decree, according to which diplomatic missions of Belarus abroad will no longer issue passports to citizens. Valid passports can be withdrawn from citizens using a vague wording, in cases and in accordance with the procedure determined by the legislation of the Republic of Belarus. All transactions with real estate and transportation for emigrants will be possible only in Belarus at the place of registration. Consulates will no longer issue and certify copies of birth and marriage certificates, diplomas of higher education, These documents are needed abroad when applying for the right to live there, to get a job, to send children to educational institutions. Emigrants will not be able to manage the state payment for birth from abroad. That is, Belarusian emigrants to obtain all these documents will have to come to their home country, where they may be arrested. And abroad, their position becomes legally precarious because of non-renewed passports and other documents. I am sure that Putin's criminal regime will fall, as well as the regime of dictator Lukashenko.
Все, батька подписал указ. Теперь в посольствах и консульствах за границей паспорт не поменяешь. Auf Wiedersehen, meine Herren! Ну вот и все. Вы бомжи. Вы уже давно стали политическими бомжами. Вы уже давно морально-нравственные бомжи. Бомжи своей жизни. Бомжи безнародные. Бомжи безденежные. Бомжи беспонтовые. Бомжи безнадежные. Бомжи без судьбы. А теперь и безбумажные бомжи.
Vladislav and Anna had planned for their wedding to take place at the end of February 2022. But when Russia's full-scale invasion began, Vladislav went to the front lines. They moved their wedding date to August 7th, 2023. However, Vladislav was severely injured just a few days before that. The doctors weren't sure that he would survive. Miraculously, Vladislav regained consciousness just in time for their wedding, on the day before. Vladislav and Anna decided not to gamble with fate a second time, and took their vows in a military hospital as soon as Vladislav's condition permitted. Don't postpone your happiness until some perfect future date. In war or in peace, the perfect moment is always now. When the music is louder than rockets, performance of Another Love on the piano in a destroyed house in the town of Izium, Kharkov region. The instrument miraculously was not damaged during the shelling.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week at 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.